A special task force set up by the Kenyan government has recommended that the East African nation recognizes intersex persons as a third sex. The landmark recommendations follow years of lobbying by intersex persons who have faced ridicule and stigmatization. The task force has also asked the government to ensure that the intersex persons are counted during the country's national census, which is due in August. Intersex individuals are born with sex characteristics such as genitals or chromosomes that do not fit the typical definitions of male or female.
28-year-old Ryan Moirore walks into his office just after 9 in the morning, ready to begin his day. His job involves advocating for other people like him. His mother named him Ruth, and he remained that way for several years. Even now, his legal documents recognize him as such.
Law recognizes me as female, and that's why by that time, like I mentioned, I was fighting for my space. But after saying that, I decided, together with my colleagues, we decided, like, I'm not going to fight for my space. I'm going to fight for our space.
Ryan is intersex. When he was born, his father took off, terming his condition as a bad omen. His story is replicated over and over.
I was born an intersex person, and my parents and the doctors could not tell who I was. So with benefit of doubt, they decided to raise me as a girl. I have been socialized for as long as I can remember as a girl. And one good thing that happened to me, I was not baptized. The priest refused to baptize me because I was a hermaphrodite, and therefore they did not know the way forward.
Because they could not fit the usual definition of female or male, stigma, ridicule and rejection followed them through puberty, and with it, attempts to commit suicide. Not lost on Ryan is just how lucky he is to be alive. Many like him do not live to adulthood.
Some intersex people are being killed in that stage because maybe some parents want to retain their marriage, their dignity, because they feel like, how am I going to tell the society that my child is not a boy or a girl?
Especially those of us who cannot be able to maneuver through puberty while we are in the education system, the easiest option is dropping out of school.
Their plight finally got to the ears of authorities, who formed a task force to see how to come up with laws on how to treat intersex persons. The report of the task force was released in Nairobi last week. It has a raft of recommendations, including the recognition of intersex persons.
We do not have an opportunity to record a sex like intersex. That is where the challenge begins, and that is where the recognition needs to move towards. And that's the recommendation of the task force, that we have a third sex known as intersex.
There is also recommendations on the documentation, such that our legal framework is amended to ensure easier ways of the intersex people accessing documentation.
We are trying to look how the implementation can be done very quickly, because the more it takes more time, the more intersex people continue suffering.
The task force identified 300 intersex persons, but the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights estimates that there may be as many as 1.4 million intersex persons in Kenya, going by the United Nations estimates of between 1.7 to 3% of intersex persons worldwide. Sarah Kimani, SABC News, Kenya.